Story 1. I spent a year playing Baby Shark on repeat on my sister's Spotify, so it would be the #1 song on her Spotify Wrapped. My two sisters and I have a good thing going. We each pay for and share several streaming services. It's a great system that has enabled all of us to have access to most major streaming services for around $20 per month each. Last December, my younger sister was upset that one of her top songs on Spotify was a song that I like and listen to a lot. She brought it up with me and essentially told me to stop listening to Spotify so much because it was technically her account, and she didn't want my songs to appear in her Spotify Wrapped. I told her that is not how our system works, and if she wanted to back out, she could. Otherwise, I am free to use it as much as I want because I pay for it too. She wasn't upset enough to back out of our agreement, but she did make a point to start watching Netflix, Hulu, etc. using my profile instead of hers just to annoy me. When I brought it up with her, she used my own words against me and told me that we're all sharing, right? Fine. Cue the revenge. My sister works at a credit card processing company and has to keep her phone in a locker, while at work as a safeguard to prevent the employees from saving people's credit card information. I, on the other hand, work from home. So for the entirety of 2022, I would open Spotify, turn my volume down, and play that god-awful Baby Shark song by Pinkfong on repeat. We're talking at least 4 times a day every workday, sometimes as many as 30 times. A few days ago, to my younger sister's dismay, Baby Shark was her #1 song for the year by a long shot. The #2 song wasn't even close, it had around 1/4 of the listens Baby Shark did. Pinkfong was her #1 artist too. She was definitely more upset than amused that I had rendered her Spotify Wrapped unshareable, but she did find some humor in it, and she appreciated my dedication. My older sister and I certainly found it hilarious. The best part, it sparked a conversation that ended with my younger sister and I essentially making a truce and agreeing to relax a bit, and not intentionally annoy the other person. Story 2. You tormented my sister, so say goodbye to Game of Thrones. My sister, S, shares an apartment with her best friend, R, in a different state from me. They've lived together since they graduated from the same college, about 5 or 6 years ago now, and R's been around our family for so long, we jokingly refer to her as our parents' third child. Things have been going great for them. There's the odd hiccup or two between their personalities, but nothing too out of the ordinary. Both of them are currently working and going to grad school in their city. That is, up until a few months ago when I met her boyfriend, A, for asshole. He was another student at their university, studying to be a doctor maybe. I can't remember. I don't know how they met, but according to S, they hit it off quickly. I was head over heels for him, since he ticked all her boxes, especially the one where he made her feel helpful and needed. You see, A was a manipulator. He would sweet-talk her into never telling him no, helping him with money, being his personal Uber driver, and generally being subservient to him. Sadly, I went along with it because, like I said, he made her feel needed because she's a genuinely kind person who loves helping others. A and S did not get along. S is very self-confident and strong-willed, and A hated it. It got to the point where they couldn't stand to be in the same room as each other. If A came over to their apartment, S left simply to keep the peace. If they did have to interact with each other, A would go out of his way to start arguments so he could act like the wounded party in front of R. When S was gone, he would cry to R about how horrible S was to him, how toxic and manipulative she was. He was becoming more and more overtly abusive towards R. He would throw fits and complain every time R wanted to do something he didn't like or go see someone he didn't want her to see. He would demand she change her plans to suit him at the last minute, then berate her when she made them late. He'd break up with her repeatedly, then convince her to come back. He always blamed the breakups on S, and I was beginning to believe him. They were fighting more often and more intensely than before, are often throwing the same hurtful insults at S that A was feeding her. Their friendship, which was years old and rock solid, was beginning to crumble. The stress of it was really beginning to get to S, to the point where my parents and I were making plans to get her out of the situation. Fast forward several months to now, when things seem to be returning to normal. RS family sat her down and talked to her about all the red flags we've all been seeing, and things have apparently ended between R and A for good. S and R seem to be working on mending their friendship. I have a subscription to HBO Max that I pay for and share with S and our parents. Lately, I've noticed someone has been watching Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon a lot on my profile. I was confused, since I don't watch either show, but figured it was S, so I'd forgotten about it. A few days ago, I got a text from S, asking about my HBO account. It turned out that somehow I had gotten hold of the password for my HBO login and gave it to A without my knowledge or permission. S was pissed, especially since I had accidentally mentioned it in passing, and had clearly not intended to tell her about this and told me as soon as she heard. I can't do much to A. I'd happily square up as payback for the months of turmoil he's put my sister through, even though I'll probably never have the chance. However, I took a great deal of petty pleasure in changing the password to the account and force logging out every device that had ever connected to it. Good luck finishing Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon now, asshole. Story 3. Told my ex-friend that he was cheating on his girlfriend with a coworker and now he's getting deported. My ex-friend was cheating on his girlfriend. I know his girlfriend because he talked about her all the time at the office. We work together. He would mention her and talk about how he can't wait to marry her and live with her forever. He started a sexual affair with our coworker and then started hitting on my girlfriend. I confronted him about both of these things and he lied to my face about it. I know he lied because I was in possession of the evidence, text messages and voicemails, which show his words and plans to engage in infidelity. He tried to gaslight me because he didn't know I had any proof. The coworker didn't know that my ex-friend was in a relationship and that he was cheating on his girlfriend. So I told my coworker. And then I told his girlfriend by sending her the evidence of his infidelity. I didn't plan for this to happen, but apparently he was planning on marrying his girlfriend so that he can stay in the country. He's here on student visa, which is about to expire. If he married his GF, he would have gotten citizenship. Apparently, he got dumped and now may have to leave the country. I know this sort of makes me an asshole, but screw that guy. Not only did he hit on my girlfriend, but he lied to my face about it. So I blasted his life with the truth and now he's a wreck at work. Anyway, screw that guy. TLDR, I revealed someone's infidelity to his partner. If they married, he would become a citizen. She dumped him, and now he is basically getting deported. Edit, whoops, I used the wrong word. I said deported, but that's not right. He would have tried to apply for a green card. He had a plan to make it happen and I just got in the way of it by telling the truth. Everyone at work knows. He didn't get fired because there was no policy against co-workers hooking up or anything. Story 4. You want to permanently claim the parking spots in front of my lot as a storage spot? You know, the place where I conveniently parked every day for 5 years before you showed up, which made it easy to load-unload my truck, which was done within the generally accepted USA etiquette in a spacious rural town. Now I have to do a 7-point turn to leave, and then parallel park when I get home. Even after I asked you to stop parking there, because I have no driveway, and I have room for 2 cars in front of my house, while you have a 2-car garage and a driveway long enough to hold 2 semis. And enough room to park 3 cars on the street in front of your lot? Then you told me I don't own the street? And if figured out that you call your complicit wife before you get home, to move my trash can onto the curb strip when I'm sleeping, so you can park there and it doesn't get picked up. Thanks Ring Doorbell, I've made you aware of all this in person, and then you doubled down by putting all your vehicles in the street and leaving your driveway empty like a true sociopath. That pisses off people around them on purpose. I'm American, I can do what I want. And it leaks about a pint of transmission fluid or oil per week onto the ground in 2 puddles. The 2 owners that lived there before you never once did this, a single time. No one else on the entire block of 12 houses parks anywhere but in front of their own buildings. This isn't downtown LA, it's a small town with plenty of parking for every house adjacent to their own lots. I told you that you are a rude dick when I caught you weirdos in the act of moving the trash can on trash day. And I haven't talked to you in months. Why do you think that is? You must be a joy to work with. Is that why you've had 5 jobs in 2 years? Okay, fine, you can have it, asshole. Enjoy the giant bird feeder I legally installed on a pole in the curb strip, 2 feet away from your beater truck. It's been about a week, and the entire roof of your ugly rust bucket dung mobile, and the never-used 20-foot trailer you recently dumped in front of it is coated in bird poo, and white and green streaks are all over the windows. Now you can have a shitty truck to go with your shitty personality. Plus I can look at birds and hear their chatter and smile, instead of fuming over your never-moving junkers. Yeah, I could call the city and tell them it never moves, but they would know who did, and that's a can of worms I'm not ready to open. Poop will have to suffice. I don't expect you have the intelligence to figure it out, but enjoy. Moral of the story, you're the asshole. I guess you own the street. You win.